Hello everyone, this video will go through the story of Transformers: Rise of Darkspark. On Cybertron, Shockwave, Starscream, and Soundwave are sent by Megatron to find a mystical relic. The three make their way through an ancient abandoned Cybertronian city and into an ancient vault. They are met with heavy resistance from feral cybernetic life forms Shockwave dubs Insecticons. Upon defeating the attacking Insecticons, Starscream is alarmed at the appearance of Hardshell, the leader of Insecticons, and begins shooting at him, only to be stopped by Shockwave, who reveals Hardshell, along with Kickback and Sharpshot, to be new recruit to the Decepticon cause. Sharpshot points the Decepticons into the direction of Darkspark, and the Decepticons continue their trek further into the vault. Soundwave notices Autobot energy signature on his scanners, but Shockwave passes them off as glitches. Soon, the Decepticons arrive at the entrance to the chamber, holding the Darkspark. Sideswipe and Ironhide have taken Decepticons and arrive at Darkspark before them. Ironhide takes the Darkspark, and as they are leaving, the Decepticons enter the chamber. Enraged that Autobots beat them to the Darkspark, they open fire. Ironhide and Sideswipe barely escape from chamber as security measures cause it to close, trapping the Decepticons inside. As Sideswipe and Ironhide reach the scheduled rendezvous point, they are greeted by Optimus Prime. Though Starscream arrives and demands that Autobots surrender, they get away on a train. Shockwave arrives, presses a switch on his arm, and causes the train to explode. Shockwave, believing Optimus Prime has the Darkspark, hides in the rubble of the smoldering train. After a short firefight, Shockwave seizes the Darkspark from a heavily damaged Ironhide and begins to head for Kain. On his way back, Shockwave and Sharpshot land in an ancient research laboratory and reveal some history of the Darkspark, which can empower its master to bend the universe. When the two exit the facility, they are found by Vortex outside, who alerts the other Combaticons. Onslaught orders Swindle to escort Shockwave to Kain. Though Swindle and Shockwave are ambushed by a squadron of Autobots led by Cliffjumper, they defeat him and get to the gates of Kain. When Cliffjumper reports to Optimus that he failed to stop the Decepticons, Optimus reassures him that he bought him enough time to set the plan into motion. As the Combaticons meet up at gates of Kain, they find themselves under attack by Autobots. Blastoff offers to deliver the Darkspark via air, but Shockwave warns that should Darkspark fall from a great height, it will cause massive damage to the city. Onslaught orders Shockwave to stay behind, while the Combaticons take care of the Autobots. They combine into Bruticus and begin defeating wave after wave of Autobot soldiers. While Bruticus has his back turned, Cliffjumper tries to plant a bomb on his back. However, Bruticus finds out and smashes Cliffjumper against the wall. Holding Cliffjumper hostage, Shockwave orders the Autobots to cease fire. Jess and his troops comply, but the Decepticons take Cliffjumper with them into Kain anyway. Jess alerts Optimus to their situation, with Optimus assuring that they will rescue Cliffjumper and secure Darkspark. Optimus and Jess begin their rescue mission by driving down a road towards Kakula, Megatron's fortress. After making their way through some defense grids, Jess hacks into a terminal and finds out where Shockwave is keeping Cliffjumper. Jess notices how easy their journey has been, and both he and Optimus agree that they are working into a trap. On cue, Megatron treats the two with a warm Decepticon welcome, which naturally includes a gunfire. Optimus and Jess fight out Megatron's troops and find a prison cell that Cliffjumper is being held captive. Optimus provides cover for Jess using a turret, while he breaks Cliffjumper out. As Optimus and Jess check up on Cliffjumper, walls begin to surround the cell, trapping all the three Autobots. Optimus then contacts Perceptor and orders him to commence Operation Longshot. Perceptor relays the detail of Operation Longshot to Jetfire, who will infiltrate the smoldering remains of Trypticon. Jetfire soon arrives at the weapon chamber, and he is tasked with reactivating Trypticon's weapon system. Perceptor activates Trypticon's orbital strike, giving Jetfire barely enough time to escape. The energy beam fired from Trypticon soon reaches its target, Kakula. Things go according to plan, as Optimus, Jazz, and Cliffjumper are freed due to the damage to the fortress, and the three begin their escape. During the Autobots' prison break, Cliffjumper recalls Shockwave bringing up his experiments with the Darkspark, and how Cliffjumper wouldn't have to be an Autobot much longer. Optimus orders Jazz to get Cliffjumper to safety, while he will go after Megatron and the Darkspark alone. After fighting through more Decepticon troops, Optimus enters a room that contains some fallen Autobot soldiers. Megatron and Shockwave observe from distance, and decide to use Optimus for an experiment. Using Dark Energon, Shockwave resurrects the Autobots, now pledging their allegiance to Megatron. Megatron, using the Darkspark to increase his power, also joined his new troops in a fight against Optimus. In a last-ditch effort, Optimus and Megatron begin to unleash the power of the Matrix of Leadership and Darkspark respectively. Eventually, the power of the Matrix overpowers the Darkspark, causing it to eject itself out of Megatron and launch itself into space. Long time has passed, and Autobots are now migrated to Earth. A strange object flies through space, destroying a satellite in orbit. The mysterious item flies past the ship, piloted by the legendary mercenary Lockdown. Drift, the Decepticon-turned Autobot, arrives in a burning city to investigate. He notices that something crash-landed nearby, continuing to the site of the crash and taking out mercenaries as he goes. Drift meets up with Optimus and Bumblebee, and the three arrive at the crash site. Optimus reveals to Drift that it is a Darkspark. Before it can be retrieved, Lockdown arrives and steals the artifact for himself. The Darkspark's power prevents Optimus from intervening, and all he can do is furiously watch as Lockdown departs in his ship. Bumblebee and Drift, having been busy tracking Lockdown's ship, and report to Optimus that he may be heading towards an abandoned military base. After ending their transmission, the two Autobots are attacked by snipers. They eventually make it to the base, which is swarming with mercenaries. Drift attempts a stealth attack against Lockdown, but he is quickly spotted and taken down. Bumblebee continues to fight his way through Lockdown's men while looking for Drift. He eventually finds Drift being interrogated by Lockdown. Lockdown mocks Drift for his shift in allegiance and leaves him to get roughed up by the mercenaries. Bumblebee takes this opportunity to snipe one of the henchmen, allowing Drift to escape. Lockdown unveils his new Titan mercenary, which is impervious to the Autobots' weapons. This forces Drift and Bumblebee to flee. Drift and Bumblebee make their way outside, while more mercenaries try to take them out. Just when it seems like there's no hope left for the two, Grimlock comes to their rescue. After Grimlock easily dispatches the mercenaries, the Titan mercenary finally arrives. Grimlock smack-talks the Titan before rendering it extinct. Lockdown takes the opportunity to escape, much to Grimlock's anger. Lockdown and his men enter their base located in the middle of a city, and he orders the mercenaries to keep the Autobots occupied. Optimus Prime and his men fight through the defense forces and eventually enter Lockdown's lair. Optimus, Bumblebee, and Drift soon confront Lockdown and discover that he has built himself a time bridge by which he will be able to go back in time and save the Decepticons in the Battle of Chicago. Lockdown is impervious to Optimus' weapons thanks to the Darkspark, and Optimus has to resort to melee attack in order to damage him. Eventually, the two begin to grapple with each other, and Optimus tosses Lockdown towards Drift, who cuts the Darkspark out of Lockdown's chest. Optimus then uses the Matrix to toss the Darkspark into the time bridge. His plans ruined, Lockdown flees from the Autobots. Meanwhile, in another space-time, the Darkspark lands in the middle of a desert before Optimus.